Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been on a hiatus for a while, but I'm really excited to be back making my sewing videos, and today I have a really fun video that I'm going to be filming. One of my friends from college is hosting a really fun Y2K themed birthday party at the end of the month, and I really wanted to use this opportunity to be able to make her something, so I decided I'm going to make her birthday top that she'll wear to her Y2K themed party. And I'm so excited because I've been wanting to go to more like themed kind of costumey parties because I really haven't been to that many. So I think this will be a really fun project, and I'll also probably even make my own outfit as well. So stay tuned if you want to see how her top comes out and my own. The theme for my friend's birthday party is Y2K, specifically like sexy 2000s fashion. So I actually was just waiting for her to give me inspiration, and she sent me a lot of cheetah print. She sent me a lot of like cropped tops, I guess you would say, and halter tops, corset tops. I'm gonna put like pictures of like the inspo on the screen. She's planning on wearing a black mini skirt with it and probably some like boots or some kind of like cute chunky heels. Her fashion in general is very goth, I would say. She wears a lot of black, so she wanted to like try to have like not an all black outfit for this. So I was trying to figure out a way how I can incorporate color but also like keeping her style. So I did end up already doing the sketch, and I did a few sketches, but then I ended up coming up with this as the final version. And from there I basically went fabric shopping. Cheetah is very tricky and sometimes it can look really tacky, so I went fabric shopping. I sent her pictures of the different cheetah print I was looking at to see which ones stood out to her. And funny enough, we ended up not even using cheetah print. We ended up using this really pretty silver kind of fabric. So I have the fabric, and yeah, it's like literally not even at all like what we were looking for, but we decided to switch gears, and this is what we're going with now. So I had to make sure I had everything I needed to make this outfit because I'm actually not home, as you can probably tell. I'm not in my normal sewing space, my sewing studio space that is like usually in my dining room at home. I'm actually out of town and I'm not going to be back home for a while, so I have a lot of like all the projects I'm planning on working on while I'm here, and I'm in Pennsylvania actually right now. I have all of that with me, so my next few videos are actually probably going to end up being shot here, just so that you guys know that. But yeah, so I made sure I had everything I needed, and now I am ready to start working on it. So the first thing we're gonna do is work on the sample, because I could just go like jump right into it because I am confident with this pattern, but I'm not gonna do that. So I'm going to make a sample and I'm gonna send it to her in the mail, and then she's gonna try it on over FaceTime so we can make sure everything like looks right and fits well, and then I can go into the final fabric. So the first thing I'm gonna actually do is tape down my patterns that I made, or that I draped from whenever I was with Mattie, and I'm going to tape them on this paper so that I can add seam allowance. Let me show you. On this line, and this line, and this line. I'm gonna add 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this pattern piece as well. So that's what I'm going to work on first. So I just finished doing all of the patterns. Well, I really just added seam allowance to them, honestly. So now I'm going to make the sample with this muslin fabric. So I'm going to use this muslin fabric and these patterns, and we're going to make the sample version of the top. And I will then send it to her in the mail, and I'll have to wait so that I can like do a fitting with her and then go on to the final fabric. For this sample I'm gonna make, I am debating on if I'm also gonna cut the lining, just because I do have to use some of this fabric for something else. So honestly, yeah, I'll probably just cut the lining too, because I really do want to be able to see how this looks exactly like how I'm gonna make it. So we're gonna cut the lining and the base, and then I'll cut the gathered part as well so we can see how that whole sample will look. To show you guys my breakdown. So since I am not with Mattie right now and I'm not gonna be back home for a while, I just made sure to get all of her measurements. So I basically broke down all of the parts of the top that I needed in terms of the length, width, depth, all of that to a T, just so that it's like super specific, so I don't have any issues, and I can always run back to these numbers if anything, like if I have any issues when it comes to these patterns that I just did. But for now, I think I'm okay, so we're gonna move on and get to the pattern making, or the sample making. So what I think I'm gonna do is basically piece together the lining, all the lining pieces, and then piece together all the base fabric pieces, and then also the base to the lining. I think that would be the most sufficient and make the most sense. So I'm gonna move on and do that. So we're gonna start with the corset pieces, and then once those are sewed together, we're going to move on to sewing the bust piece to the corset piece. And then we're going to repeat the same steps with the lining. Just pinned the bust to the front bodice, and I'm about to sew it together. I'm gonna sew it along this line, which is like the under bust point, like right here. So we're gonna sew that, and then yeah, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with the lining. Technically this is like, since it's muslin fabric, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, one is the lining and one is the base. So we're gonna do the same thing with the lining and then attach the straps, and yeah, it's coming out really cute. I also just want to clarify that since there's no boning in this, this is not a corset. It's really just about like the style lines that will help make it look tailored to her body, and it's just gonna look really pleasing on her with like those princess seam style lines. So I just want to clarify that because I know that's like important to know that this is not a corset because I don't have boning in it. I'm really just trying to allow the fabric to move how it organically is so that I don't have any like puckering in this. Okay, so I also just snipped along the curves because whenever you're sewing on a curve, it really helps to be able to have this seam lie flat if you just snip, not all the way through the seam obviously, but just snip a little bit so that your fabric can lay nicely. So I snipped along the curve for both of them, so now they should lay a lot flatter. And I'm also going to iron them, so I'm gonna iron right now. Honestly, I need one of those like ironing hams, if you know what I'm talking about. I know they're also called other things, but from when I was young, I remember people calling them like hams. So yeah, I need one of those because that would be really helpful right now, but I do not have one, so I'm gonna do the best that I can. Okay, I did the best I can with it, but if I had a ham or one of those like ironing things that like you iron curves on, that would be a lot better, but it's good. I'm gonna insert a picture of what I'm talking about also so you guys don't think I'm crazy, because yeah. Now I'm doing the lining, and then we're gonna sew both the lining and the base fabric together. My lining is done. It did get a little wet when I was ironing it, but that's okay, it'll dry out. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put the straps that I'm gonna have tied in the back along the side seam line on both sides, because we obviously need to tie it on both sides. And I'm also going to put the straps at the 2 points at the top of the bust for where she would tie her top at the top. So I'm gonna line those up, pin that, and then I'll show you guys and then I'll sew it. So I just pinned together the lining and the base fabric, and I enclosed the tie straps that she'll tie in the back of the top on both sides, and then I also enclosed the halter straps as well. I honestly really just used some like scrap stretchy fabric for the ties, just because the ties I did buy for the original or the final fabric do have elastic in them, and I didn't want to use the final ones obviously, so I just used some stretchy fabric and I cut like 4 to like 8 rectangles and then cut them in half, because it's just for the sample so that I can see how it looks on her. So I'm gonna sew everything together now, and I left this part open so that I can turn it right side out once I'm finished. So I'm gonna sew, iron everything, and then show you guys how it looks. We're at the moment of truth. I'm gonna turn this right side out and see how it looks. Okay, so I ironed it out and it's basically done. Like I said, I really just like cut some simple straps. I really didn't do anything fancy since this is just the sample. I would try it on myself, but it's really not meant to fit me. So as I was saying, this top is not meant for me. My friend is a bit smaller than me. Like, I'm small, but my friend is a bit smaller than me. But I did want to just see how it looked on the body. Yeah, this is the back with the ties. You can tie it as tight or loose as you want. So now I'm going to mail this sample to her, see how it looks, and do like a fitting over Zoom or FaceTime or something like that. The fabric that I haven't showed you guys yet, but I'll show you guys in the next clip, probably after the fitting, how that looks so you guys can see and visualize it. But I also was supposed to have like a ruched gathering fabric on this part as well, which I'm still planning to do, but I'm just not putting it in the sample because right now I just want to see like how it fits her body. But yeah, she was very specific in like wanting to show a little cleavage and like wanting it to be like a sexy outfit, so I feel like she'll like it, but if we need any adjustments, that's obviously doable. So I'm going to pack this up and send it off to her, and I'll show you guys the clips of how it looks on her body compared to mine. So I sent Mattie the sample for the top that I made, and now I'm about to FaceTime her and do the fitting. And I have my sketchbook here, which has all the measurements, if I can find the page, right here. Oh yeah, right here. So I'm just going to see how it looks on her and then take any fit notes that I need to, and then I can move on to the final fabric. Hey guys, it's the next day and I had my FaceTime meeting with Mattie yesterday. Literally, it fit her like a glove. It was perfect. The only notes that she gave me was raising the back strap that I had, one of the back straps, the top one, a little higher so that she can pull it, and it'll help make the front neckline just a little bit flatter. So that's my only notes, which I'm really happy about because, like I said, I'm not in New Jersey, so I wouldn't be able to get to her for a while, and I'm planning to ship the final product to her from where I'm at now. So now we can move on to the final fabric. And so me and Mattie, I went shopping right before I came here, like I was explaining before, and I was basically just texting her, sending her pictures of the different fabrics I was seeing based on what she wanted for this top. And this is what we came down to. It's like this silver metallic-y kind of fabric. I'm gonna place an insert just so that you guys can see it better. And then I also have this fabric for the lining. I don't know where these sequins are coming from, but I have sequins in my bag for some reason. Lining. Main fabric. It honestly looks a lot better in person. I hope the camera's picking it up well, but I will definitely be posting more videos on Instagram, so stay tuned for that as well. And then this is what I'm using as the straps in the back. It's like a elastic cord trimming, and people use it a lot for dresses, for the straps, as well as for corset tops. I finally finished cutting out the fabric, and these are going to be the halter straps. I cut it out of the base fabric, and then I showed you guys what the back straps are going to look like. So we have the base fabric right here, and then this is the lining, which is just satin fabric. I'm now going to sew the shirt together, and I'll just show you guys a little montage of me sewing and then me wrapping her top up in the packaging. Okay guys, hopefully you guys can hear me because I have the heater on right now, but this is the piece that I cut out, which I'm going to end up gathering. So I also just wanted to show you guys this, which will, I'm trying to figure out what the best order is for me to sew everything in. I feel like I should probably just sew all of the front together, all the back together, and then I can sew this piece and gather it and then sew it to the front and then sew both the pieces together. I think that makes the most sense. So now I'm finally going to start sewing. And when I did this piece, the way I got the measurements, I just measured the width of how long the shirt is going to be, and then I also measured, the length of how long the shirt's going to be, and then I measured along the underbust where this top line will sew against. So that's what I did. I'm working on the gathered part of the shirt now. I just did the gathering on the machine. I don't know if you guys can see that. I did one side, now I just have to pull on this side. So usually you do 2 lines of stitching, so it's easier to pull. This is what we got for it. It actually looks really cute. So now I'm gonna pin it to this piece, which I just sewed, and see how it looks. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys how it looks so far, and honestly I'm like really in love with this. I feel like it's giving like Destiny Child vibes. I just really like how it's coming out, and I think the fabric is really doing it justice. I feel like you can't really like see it as well on this camera, but when I post like the final video on like Instagram and everything, you'll be able to see it a lot better, as well as the pictures when she tries it on. But I love this so far, honestly. So I'm gonna finish, and all I have to do now is do this lining, oops, which is just a satin fabric that I have. So I'm gonna sew up the lining and then sew it to the base fabric, as well as attaching these two straps for the halter straps, and then the cord trimming, which is gonna be the back tie straps. So let's get to that next. I finally finished the lining. This is how it looks. Now I just have to sew it to the base and add the straps. However, I'm trying to think, because I'm like, if I sew it all the way around, does that make sense? Or should I just sew it all the way around and leave this open, so then when I flip it right side out, it'll go on the other side? Originally, when I made the sample, I left this part open, so it's like a little bit smaller. But I'm thinking, I'm wondering if that makes sense, or if it won't, like if it's gonna turn right side out the way I need it to. And I'm a little stuck, because I feel like I have to do it this way, and then it'll turn right side out the correct way. So I think that is what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do it, sew it around this whole perimeter, leaving the bottom open. I think that is the best option. So I'm gonna do that, add in the straps as well, and show you guys how it looks after that. Okay, this is the final top. Like I said, it's giving me like Destiny Child vibes, Beyonce vibes, Britney Spears vibes. I'm really loving it. And this is the inside. I just used the satin fabric like I was telling you guys. And then I added my tag. It's super small. I really need to get new ones, because I was not expecting it to be this tiny, but it's good. So I am about to go to the store to get some tissue paper so I can wrap her top up really nicely. Yeah, and then I'm gonna ship it to her. I do want to try to figure out if I should just leave these ends how they are, or what I should do about them, because I can't really finish them since it's like cording. I'm wondering if I should at least like burn the ends, but I'm gonna figure that out. So I'm going to go get the tissue paper and then pack it up and figure out if I want to burn these ends. So stay tuned for the next clip where I'll be packaging and doing all that stuff. So I ended up just burning the ends and then tying a little knot to finish off the elastic cording, and I tied it so that it just stays in place. But this is the final top. So I went to the store and I got some gift wrapping paper, and since it's like Christmas time, I got red and green, so I'm gonna wrap it in this, and then I'm gonna use my tape that I recently ordered, my custom tape that has my brand name on it. So I'm going to use that to wrap it up with, and then I'm gonna head to UPS and ship it off to Mattie, and I can't wait to see her reaction and see how it looks on her. So I'm just gonna do a little montage of me doing that whole process of packaging the top.
Suddenly to know I see it differently. You woke me from a dream, now here's reality. Baby, baby, you are really hurting me. 'Cause every time you tell me I look good and that I'm doing fine, but nothing ever changes. And now I see, baby, you are hurting me. Stuck in repeat.
This is how the tape looks. I just wanted to show you guys before I put it on the package.